Weeks. Ongoing conflict has disrupted the Strait of Hormuz. A critical flight's getting canceled? Here's what no one's telling you. A major jet fuel shortage is quietly building, and it could hit travelers within weeks. Ongoing conflict has disrupted the Strait of Hormuz, a critical route that supplies a huge chunk of jet fuel to Europe and Asia. Experts warn Europe may have just 6 weeks of supply left. That's not a lot. Jet fuel isn't just another expense. It's about 30% of airline costs. And prices, you may ask, already doubled. So what happens next? Airlines may start raising ticket prices, cutting flights, changing routes. Weeks. Strait of Hormuz to just more than 27 doubled. So what happens next? Airlines may start raising ticket prices, cutting flights, changing routes or schedules. Some already are. KLM, for example, is cutting down flights, and others are adding fees or hiking fares. Even baggage fees are going up. The world is losing up to 15 million barrels of oil per day due to this disruption. Even emergency reserves won't fix things quickly. It could take months. For travelers, this means fewer cheap tickets, more last-minute price spikes, less flexibility when booking. The United States is helping with extra fuel exports, but Europe and Asia remain most at risk. Bottom line is this isn't just about expensive flights anymore. It could reshape how airlines operate this summer. For more news, trends, and updates, follow our page. It's the FAA's final decision on flight cuts at O'Hare is in tonight. The airport will be restricted to just more than 2,700 flights per day between May 17th and October 24th. This new number is a compromise between what the FAA wanted and what the city pushed for. And those flight cuts are coming amid international warnings now of a jet fuel shortage. We talked with CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg about what that could mean. Peter, I saw today Europe moves more than 100 million people a month, not to mention cargo. What was your reaction when you heard this?
Airlines operate on relatively thin margins, and when you've got a problem like this, it only gets exacerbated when you have a fuel disruption in the supply line. So as a result, it's not just Europe. I'm talking to you right now from Seoul in Korea. They're having a problem. They're having a problem in Australia. They're having a problem in the rest of Asia, with the exception of China, which has huge fuel reserves. So everybody's performing a sort of scheduled triage right now, where 20 to 30% of their flights are quietly being taken off their schedule because in terms of fuel, they know they can't support them. And that's going to affect schedules in a very bad way.
Well, how will this impact U.S. carriers?
It will impact U.S. carriers simply because people are being able to fly overseas or not to return to the United States. All their connectivity ends, meaning all those connecting flights get jeopardized. The economic impact here is severe. And so it doesn't just affect European fuel supplies, it affects the scheduling of flights within the United States of America. We're already seeing airlines like Norse, which is a European Scandinavian carrier, canceling all their flights out of Los Angeles for the summer, simply because they can't afford to pay for the fuel. The same thing's happening in Spirit, where they've already cut back their schedule another 30 to 40%, but this may mean their financial viability may be at stake. They could even be liquidated in the next 5 or 6 days.
What would you say to people who are hoping and trying to plan to travel this summer?
2 things. If you haven't bought your ticket yet, buy it now. Hold on to that price. It's only going to go up. And in the instance that it might come down, you can always apply for a credit against that flight, rebook it at a lower fare, and get a credit for the residual. But you don't want to sit there and wait for prices to go down, because right now, in the next 3 or 4 months, probably not going to happen.
Travel overseas could be in for some serious turbulence.
Some of the flights from city A to CTB might be cancelled as a result of lack of jet fuel.
The International Energy Agency warned Europe could be about 6 weeks from a major shortage of jet fuel if disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz continue.
What is happening now is the largest energy crisis we have ever faced in the history.
The Strait is a key corridor for global oil shipments. Exports from the Gulf region are the largest source of jet fuel to the global market. But with shipping traffic at a standstill, jet fuel prices have nearly doubled. Airlines worldwide are feeling the impact, and it's leading to tight supplies in Asia, Europe, and Africa. Germany's Lufthansa is shutting down a regional airline this week, parking more than 24 planes now and more in the fall. Dutch airline KLM said it's cutting about 160 flights next month.
I don't recall ever seeing anything like this on such a large scale. It's alarming.
Airline industry analyst Henry Hartevelt says while the U.S. produces most of its jet fuel, travelers planning to go to Europe could face potential disruptions.
There may be some routes where the airline says, you know what, it's just too risky to send a plane over to Europe. If there's not enough jet fuel at your originating airport, your flight may have to make an intermediate stop to get more fuel along the way. That means a longer trip home.
The surging price of fuel prompted JetBlue's founder, who now runs Rival Breeze, to warn JetBlue could be faced with bankruptcy. Comments coming after public reports say budget airline Spirit could be forced to shut down and liquidate in the coming days. Now, JetBlue has not responded to our request for comment. Spirit declined to comment on the reports of a potential imminent liquidation. Both airlines continue to operate normally. Current thinking is European countries are likely to prioritize longer haul flights for fuel, but the situation could absolutely mean fewer flights abroad, and that usually means higher costs for flight.
So you see that? Here it is. People, they done planned their hot girl summer, their best life summer. They done planned all this, and here it is. Everything is shutting down. And remember, this is just for people taking flights. A lot of stuff go on planes to get you your Amazon goods, your UPS goods. You know, different goods shipped here and there from around the world. On-time deliveries. They just don't go on ship or on the truck. Sometimes they had to go on these huge cargo planes. Remember, you done had a few of them crash in the past couple of years. You see? One recently crashed, about 3 or 4 months ago? That they couldn't afford to service it on the using a regular schedule. So yeah, the Most High is shutting Babylon down. Babylon's going to be closed for business. Okay? So yeah, and look, every time you turn around, this man is involved in some type of chaos. This is by design, because this is what Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah want. All right? And they need aluminum. If you don't have that aluminum, you're not going to be able to have them cans. That's why you're seeing a canned goods shortage right now. Okay? Things are happening quick, Jake. Let's go and get into this. Barakathai Hawa, Barakathai Hawa Shah, Barakathai Hawa, Barakathai Hawa Shah, Barakathai Hawa, Barakathai Hawa Shah. Call Allah Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Bashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Shalom and citation to those that teach a likewise doctrine. Shalom to the Akim and Aquab. Shalom to the scattered Israelites across the four corners of the planet. May the Most High and the Son be with you during these trying times. So see, things are happening. They happening quickly. You see? 2nd Ezra 16 verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? See, because hey, Ezra, he may be back right now. Okay? He may be in GMS. You see? 2nd Ezra 16 verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils come? And they coming. It's everywhere, Jake. I need my car fixed. My son, he just lost his job, which I told him that was going to happen, but he didn't listen. I told him to stay on the job he had. Okay, because I told him, I said, a lot of these other jobs, they're gonna slowly start laying people off. But see, the prudent man foreseeth the evil. And see, since he's young, you know, they don't want to listen. They want to live their best life. So he called me all confused. I said, I told you this was going to happen. And it's happening. Everybody going to get affected. But see, the thing is that we have stability because we believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, because he said these things was going to happen, and they must happen. Okay? Because, hey, Esau is the end of this world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You see that? Let's keep going. Second Esdras 16, verse 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. You see? You don't get your act right, the Most High going to give you act right. You see? Second Esdras 16, verse 20. But for all these things shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. And see, they're going to keep happening and happening and happening because that's the times we in. Okay? They get ready to try to pass that MOTB. And this man is going to try to fill his belly, but the Most High is going to strike him through with the ball steel, that ICBM. You see? And it's closing in quickly. All right. Second Esdras 16, verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they think themselves to be in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. You see? And it's coming. Okay? It's coming, and it's coming quickly. All right? Now, they're talking about these plane shutdowns. Remember, there's other things that are affected by this. Manufacturing plants burning up. All right? One thing after another. Banks don't want to give you cash like that anymore. All right? Banks, they won't even let you open an account. A lot of things are happening. All right? But this is what I want to show you. When the Most High say that your time is up, and we keep telling you that this Bible is a living book, let me show you what this dude Popular Report just reported.
This naval blockade is now using about 10% of the United States' naval power to enforce the blockade, and warning any ships approaching the blockade will be attacked. So, yay for peace, I guess. Europeans have started to do some navel gazing and realize that it's going to take... Now, President Trump keeps saying, like, it's going to be over maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. We don't know, but probably pretty soon, just in order to keep the markets up. But Europeans who are actually trying to plan for these shortages are actually planning now for 60 days. The International Energy Agency chief warns that Europe has maybe 6 weeks worth of jet fuel. That's in the entire continent. It's 42 days. If we have 60 days of outages more, you got a problem there. And then it's going to take another 3 weeks for...
No, I'm picking up for Pierre.
The first shipment to come from the Persian Gulf. What we're seeing is Europe is looking across the pond at a...
All right. Thank you, man.
America to bring in all of its jet fuel, all of its gasoline, and all of its diesel. The problem is that the United States doesn't have enough refining capacity for the United States, let alone the United States and Europe. Europe and the United States are going to start fighting over the fuel.
You hear that? They're going to start, they're going to get into it. You see that? That beast shall hate the whore. You see? A lot of nations, they're blaming the tiny tops, and they're blaming Babylon the Great for all the confusion that's going on. Okay? I did a report. The Philippines, these Asian nations, they're blaming Babylon and the tater tots for this. You see? This is where things are headed at, man. And this is what we're warning you about. You can feel it in the spirit. That gloom is coming. That doom is close. Okay? It's close. Okay? Second Esdras 7 verse 41. Even so now, seeing corruption has grown up and wickedness increased, and the righteous have prayed for the ungodly, wherefore shall it now be so now also. And see, hey, we praying that Jake wake up, but they don't want to listen. You see, that's why 2/3 they're going to be cut off. Their ass going to be left here with all this madness that's going on. Okay? He answered me and said, this present life is much to end, where much glory doth abide. Therefore have thou prayed for the weak. You see? But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. And hey, we just about there, Jake. We're just about there. You can feel you can feel the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh shine the air. And you can see these evil spirits on people. Okay? people give you a side eye for no reason. That's because they know you believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. You see? And it's coming. The end is just about here. But yeah, hey, Europe is getting angry. They starting to hate Babylon. All right? So we're going to get a few more scriptures and leave it there. But yeah, he said it. They're going to get to fighting. You see? And he know that himself because, hey, he's a six-pack brag. Okay? So yeah, he feel it too. That they going to come to blows. Revelation 17 verse 15, and he said unto me, the waters where thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Yeah, remember Babylon was a golden cup. It made all these nations drunk, made them rich. They done picked up the ways of Babylon. Okay, alphabetism, all the different isms and schisms. Okay, and madness that you see. And hey, they're spreading in these people nations. Okay. And hey, now the Most High is getting ready to bring it all down. Revelation 17 verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. You see that? So yeah, Jake is getting close, but yeah, he said he could see it. And he the one who the first one that I heard who said that I think he was over in Asia, I think in Taiwan, where they only had a week or 2 weeks left of fuel or something like that. But a lot of places, they're rationing fuel, shutting down airports, canceling flights. Flights used to be several hundred a day. Now they only, 10, 20 a day. You see that? So yeah, this is what's going on. So we're going to leave it there. I'll see you again real soon, Jake. Call hello. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah, Shalom.